Hello everybody, welcome to Chapter 19 Lesson 2. Today what we're taking a look at here is what happens to America's economy in the 1970s, particularly during the times of Presidents Nixon, Ford, and then President Carter. And we're taking a look at here, and I think the general premise that we have to look at here is what you can see above my head, which is that America's economic machine, which had been the top dog in terms of manufacturing in the world since 1900, is going to begin to slow. Now, that's not to say that our economy becomes smaller. What I'm talking here about is the rate at which we actually make things and sell things to other people. That is what we're actually talking about here. That rate is going to fall, even though we'll be able to have success doing other things as a country and consuming things and spending things and making, providing services. But the actual economy of making stuff in factories is going to go down. And the manufacturing in America is going to go into a number of different problems, a number of different issues that it's going to have here. And when we say the word manufacturing, remember that what we're talking about is making things in a factory. So here's a couple of the problems. One of those problems is what you're going to see here for number one, which is that our economy is heavily dependent upon foreign oil. Now, what does that mean? Imported oil. I have a chart here that I'm going to show you, have you take a look at here. And what this chart does is it shows you with the black line here that I'll trace over in blue. This is the total amount of oil that our country is using at any point in time, either in terms of producing it or bringing it in from another country. So it's all the oil that America has at her availability at any one point in time. I bring this up to you because I want to show you the colors that are down here below as well, and those are the colors that I'm going to highlight red. These colors is oil that is all imported from a group of countries that work together. And those countries are called the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, also known as OPEC. So these countries all here, whether it's Ecuador or Algeria, Libya, Angola, all the questions and all the countries that you can see here being circled by my pointer, these are all member states of OPEC. And what they begin to do is use oil as a weapon. Now, if you look, most of those countries, especially a number of them, all produce oil in the Middle East, especially some of them like Iran and Iraq and Saudi Arabia, and so on and so forth. So they begin to use oil as a political weapon. In particular, what they were looking to do was use oil as a political weapon when war erupts between Syria, which you can see here, highlighted by my pointer, Egypt, which is right here, and Israel. And this war is called the Yom Kippur War. It happens in 1973. And what happens here is that OPEC says it's going to embargo or stop shipping petroleum to countries that support Israel. And of course, one of those countries around the world is the United States. This means that something's going to happen between 1973 and 1975. Oil prices are going to rise. And on the chart that you can see here to my right, the red line that goes over here is the cost of energy, the cost of oil production. And you can see here we hit this spot in 1973. It's relatively high, but then all of a sudden in 73, whoosh, it spikes way up. 1974, 1975, a tremendous increase in the cost of oil. And you can see that embargo. And what that means is if they're not shipping to us, America has to find some other place to get its oil from. So just imagine that all of that oil that I highlighted in here in red is no longer available for us. Well, where are we going to get our money? Or our oil, rather, right? We need to find some other way to handle this crisis. Now, what's going to happen here? Well, if the price of oil rises, that means that America's going to have less money to spend on anything else, and it's going to contribute to a recession because we're not going to be able to buy as much and buy the things that we produce. So we have one big problem so far with our economy. Our dependency on imported oil makes oil prices rise dramatically when they embargo. OPEC embargoes us, and it means that we're not going to have as much money to spend on other things. So our society, since it's heavily dependent on foreign oil, is really going to have to struggle here in its economy in the early 1970s.